And how about the numbers that these two have put up over the course of their careers? 5 All-American honors between them. And the wins that they have racked up, 81 for Kat, 78 for Fouts. They have both taken their teams to the World Series, and both with national championship aspirations this year for Florida State and Alabama. Won't be an easy road for either one today. There will be some tests ahead as we start out with Florida State. They have Kaylee Harding back. They were in the Sunday night showcase a year ago. She got a walk-off win for them.
Yeah, she did against UCLA, and she'll be hitting the 3 spot tonight here against Alabama. She'll still be in the lineup, and this Florida State team is still rolling with offense. They have a little bit of power. They have some speed. They always play big whenever the lights are on in this Sunday night game. They're hitting over 300 so far this weekend. Just the 1 loss to UCLA, and they've hit 7 home runs. Kaylee Harding has hit 2, and so has Mac Leonard. And Kaylee Mudge, their leadoff hitter, has led the team with 6 RBIs. But Alabama has had their fair share of offense too, with the way that Ashley Pringy has been able to step up for them. They also are hitting over 300, and Ashley Pringy has hit 3 home runs in this tournament. The ball has been flying all weekend long. 7 RBIs, she leads the team. She'll be hitting in the 2 spot. So much pop, she's showing up big in her senior year.
The numbers for Prangy with those 3 home runs and the 7 RBI here at the Clearwater Invitational, as Alabama gets set to take on Florida State, and they will go with Montana Fouts in the circle, the graduate student right-hander out of Grayson, Kentucky.
Fouts just with the experience in the circle. Look at the power numbers, 24 strikeouts in those 16 innings pitched, and it's really because of her ability to manipulate the ball, the depth and the movement of the pitches. So she's going to work on the corners with a curveball that really runs away from righties into lefties. Just late and sharp, really high RPM rate, and it's the rise ball at the top of the zone. If you look at the depth of these pitches, the way that that rise ball is going to climb over 3 inches, that curveball is going to slide through that slot at a good 4 to 5 inches. Really, you have to keep your eyes to the zone. So you're looking at speeds at 70 miles an hour with that explosive rise, the run on the curveball. But she's also been throwing more of a drop ball this year to help her out at the lower half of the zone. And you know, Amanda, that's going to be so important.
The lineup for Florida State: Kaylee Mudge at the top, and then Mac Leonard. Earlier today, the Noles got a run rule win over Louisiana, and Mac hit 2 home runs. Also added a sacrifice fly for 5 RBI in the victory for the Noles, one of their 3 wins against ranked opponents, the lone loss to UCLA. And with Oklahoma losing to Baylor today, the Bruins may move into the top spot in the polls, as the Noles will try for a 4th ranked win of the weekend, with Kaylee Mudge leading things off. Underway in Clearwater on our Sunday night showcase. And Fouts comes in with a strike. Mudge, the senior, out of Winter Springs, Florida. Coach Lonnie Alameda calls her the light and the joy of their lineup, and everything you'd want your tone setter to be at the top of the order. .344 on the season, actually has added a home run to her repertoire. Hit one here.
She's just steady Eddie up at the top. Can do a little bit of everything, can lay down a bunt, can give you a good at bat, can draw a walk, steal a base. So good in the outfield too, holding down that left field position.
6 hits, 4 runs scored, and 6 runs batted in their 4 games here. She's gotten a hit in each outing.
He does that, sprays a lot of pitches, strikes out less than 10% of her at bat. So just a good lead off, that prototypical, can take the walk, hits for average.
2-2 pitch from Fouts. Chopped to short. Kevlin. One down.
The next batter for the Seminoles,
That brings
first
up
baseman,
Matt
Matt
Leonard, who hit 2 bombs earlier today.
So much power for Mac Leonard. The at-bats that she had against Louisiana were just on time. A home run in her first at-bat off of a changeup, and then she hit another one in her last at-bat for a 3-run shot. A 5 RBI game for Mac Leonard. 4 good at-bats.
Grad student out of Normal, Illinois, who started her career at Illinois State, now in her 2nd season with the Seminoles. She was their leading hitter a year ago. And 385 here in Clearwater for Mac.
Good screwball right there. I like that pitch.
And take a look at the defense. Alabama, look at where Hevlin is, right? So they're over this way. The whole middle part of the field is just wide open. So big shift on against Leonard, who has power both ways.
1-2 pitch. Jammed her. Montana Fouts over the weekend wins over Duke and UCF. She took the loss against UCLA. As she continues to move up the Alabama record books and wins and strikeouts for her career, highlighted by a perfect game 2 years ago at the Women's College World Series.
.71 miles an hour, that pitch by Montana Fouts, bringing the heat. One of the hardest throwers in our game.
That 6'1" frame, she gets out to that 8-foot circle.
Alabama had their doubleheader yesterday, so they have not yet played today. Seminoles just finished up with Louisiana about an hour and a half ago. Full count. Tom Meyer behind the plate, Cameron Ellison at first base, Steve Gould at third. The boys in blue today. Draws the walk.
Doesn't happen very often. Montana Fouts doesn't walk a lot of hitters. In fact, in this tournament, only 2 walks to her 24 strikeouts.
Haley Harding.
Really good about finding the strike zone and hitting it often.
Yeah, and that's just her 4th walk of the season to her 44 strikeouts. So
here's Kaylee Harding. Kaylee has hit 2 home runs this weekend. Of course, both these pitchers have played in huge games. They've both been at the World Series. But early in the season, this is a little different environment tonight. You know, you've got the national TV audience, you've got a standing room only crowd around, and the tremendous respect that these 2 coaches and 2 programs have for one another. You know you may see these guys again down the road. A player that Lonnie Alameda calls a professional hitter has really made tremendous strides. She was all ACC last year and was the ACC tournament MVP. After the Noles got back on top in the league, they've taken on some threats from the likes of Virginia Tech and Clemson and Duke. Right back up the middle, base hit, Harding.
Beth, as you mentioned, Harding a professional hitter in our coach's eyes, and you can't go back to the same corner too many times, and this is curveball, curveball, curveball on the outside corner. So Fouts staying outside, adjustments by Harding, boom, base hit up the middle.
That was right past her in the circle, too.
I'd like to see, I think a lot of times with Montana, her pitches are outstanding. I'd like her pitch selection to be a little different with her pitching coach, Lance.
New this year,
Yep.
so they're making adjustments still early in the season after Stephanie Van Brakel took the head coaching job at Memphis. So an early conversation after a well-struck ball from Harding as Katie Dack, the DP, will come up with a couple on base and an early threat for the Seminoles.
Designated player, Katie Dack.
Transfer portal, a big story in the offseason, and this was a big move. Katie Dack arriving from Texas A&M. All SEC performer a year ago.
Already 3 home runs this season, and she can hit the ball a mile. A lot of pop, a lot of power, of course, to plug in right there in the middle of the FSU lineup as a new player on their team. A lot of respect from the coaching staff to do that.
Hit one off of Arkansas on a win over the Razorbacks here in Clearwater. Here's the 1-1. The 1-2. Some smoke. 70 miles an hour.
Dack's going to take a pitch that's elevated and just gets rid of it very quickly. We've seen a lot of that here, taking a high pitch and just hitting it from high to higher, driving it out of the yard.
Familiar, of course, with SEC pitching. That
Yes.
was off of the SEC Pitcher of the Year, Shanice Dells. And Fouts, the Pitcher of the Year 2 years ago. And a strikeout of Dack. Two
Fouts
down.
Ended up going down in the zone with her drop ball and is going to get the call with this check swing. One of those check swings I feel like that can go 50-50, but third base umpire is going to make that call from down the line and bring her up for the first strikeout from Montana Fouts.
That's what 70 miles an hour reaction time gets you to bite. It's hard to hold back.
There's Devin Flaherty, the senior lefty from Sarasota. Two-time All-ACC. Just 1 for 12, though, so far here in Clearwater.
Yeah, this 5, 6, 7 in the order for Florida State. Just 3 combined hits this weekend. Usually quiet between Flaherty and Edenfield and Kerr.
I'd like to welcome those of you watching the basketball game. Softball here at the TaxAct Clearwater Invitational, our Sunday night showcase. Number 7, Florida State. Number 12, Alabama, on a packed house at Eddie Seymour Softball Complex. Both teams are 3-1 here at the tournament. 3 ranked wins for Florida State, 2 for Alabama. And our All-America pitching matchup between Montana Fouts and Kat Sandercock. The early threat here for the Noles with 2 on and 2 out. And the number 5 hitter, Devin Flaherty, a 2-strike count.
Florida State's got to feel good about how many pitches they made Montana Fouts throw in this inning. Already 26 pitches. Flaherty fighting off some of these pitches.
Another full count. There is Montana Fouts, the grad student. 3-1 on the season. 2 wins here this weekend. Ball 4, bases loaded, second walk.
Well, and that was, we talked earlier, coming into this game, just 3 walks on the season in her previous 24 innings. And 2 walks here in this inning.
The catcher, Michaela
Base hit given up.
Enfield.
You've got to be careful with Michaela Enfield coming up. A monstrous freshman season that she had last season with a ton of home run power.
Sophomore out of Sneads, Florida. Big opportunity early on for Florida State attacking.
And they are attacking everything low. They are staying off the high stuff, and that's part of the reason why we're seeing them check swing at pitches low in the zone. They are really going down after that low pitch.
4 for 12 on the year with a runner in scoring position. Oh, and 2.
Two pitch. Fouts in this position earlier in the tournament. Got a little bit too close in the UCLA game. Needs to make sure she expands the zone. Gave up a grand slam in that UCLA game.
It's a good pitch right there. Rolling away off the plate. Seeing Florida State just have such good plate discipline in this inning too, which is leading to those 2 walks. They always have a good approach, a good plan like Michelle was talking about. Laying off that stuff high in the zone and looking more down.
Here's the 1-2. Got her. And the emotion from Montana Fouts. She kept it low in the zone for the strikeout. And Florida State leaves them loaded.
Montana Fouts gets in a little bit of trouble, but then comes back with the drop ball. Low and sharp, the big strikeout with the bases loaded to get out of the jam.
TaxAct Clearwater Invitational. Presented by Evo Shield. Always interesting to see what the sand sculpture will look like on a yearly basis. Out front, and now into the circle. Kat Sandercock, the senior from McLean, Virginia. 1-1. All 3 of her appearances relief. So she's making her first start, which is her usual spot in the rotation.
And Sandercock, more so now known for being down in the zone with her drop ball. She's still got that, but what makes the difference this year is the ability to throw that changeup right there, and also a rise ball that she worked hard in the offseason. She hit the weight room, wanted to get stronger so that she would be her strongest, not at the beginning of the season, but toward the end. Going to throw hard in the upper 60s, and that changeup and that rise ball complement that drop ball that has been her natural pitch that she's always thrown.
30 wins a year ago. That was tied for second best in the country. And 81 for her career. And she will start things off with a freshman, Kenley Cahalan, the second baseman. And in for a strike. Patrick Murphy at the helm for 25 years in Tuscaloosa. Winners of the 2012 National Championship. And back in the championship series in 2014 for the Tide. Look at the lineup for the Crimson Tide. Allie Shipman, how about hitting 500 with 4 doubles so far here in Clearwater? Crimson Tide at 5-2. Cahalan has had a leadoff and reached base in 5 of their first 7 games of the season. Out of Trussville, Alabama. They had a big freshman class a year ago. A couple entered the portal after one season, so an opportunity for this freshman class to step right in and have an impact.
Well, especially Cahalan, she graduated early to come over to Alabama and join forces with them this season instead of next season.
Yeah, they initially told her to wait, but then when the other players left, they said, okay, if you
on.
want to come on in, we'll take you.
We'll take you as our new leadoff hitter. Just plug right in here.
Patrick Murphy approaching 1,200 career wins for the Hall of Famer. Two. Puts it in play. On the ground, Christina Hartley. One down. And here comes the big bat of Ashley Prangy.
The next batter is third baseman, Ashley Prangy.
Senior from Indiana, started out her career at Ohio State with 3 home runs in their 4 games here.
Yeah, she's been so aggressive early in the count, looking to get that first strike that she sees. So no surprise that Sandercock is going to pull the string, throw that changeup low in the zone. She has been so aggressive when we've seen her ABs.
Aggressive and consistent. That's the one thing that Coach Murphy has loved about her, is the consistency of not just the power, but her batting average, her leadership.
Prangy. Again, it's Hartley.
Going to that drop ball early in this game.
Who has bigger shoes to fill than her after 4 years of All-American Sydney Sherrill at third base, and before that, 4 years of Jesse Warren at third base in Tallahassee. So far, so good. Allie Shipman, another one of the veterans that they will call upon for a big leadership role this season. Starting to provide power to all fields and not chasing as much to start this new year, according to Coach Murphy.
That drop ball again gets Allie Shipman to check swing and go and gets a call. Staying low in the zone early in this game. Both pitchers are.
Yeah, textbook Kat Sandercock with that, or that drop ball that just falls off the table. High spin rate, just disappears on you.
0-2 from Kat.
And I think now that Kat does have other options, the rise ball, the changeup, working a little bit on a curve, it's hard to make adjustments. You can't just sit low.
And squaring off with Shipman, who's all chalk. The back foot at the back of the box and the front foot literally on the chalk with that wide open stance. Steps into it, right back to Sandercock. And a 1-2-3 inning for Florida State. One complete on our Sunday night showcase. Scoreless. Beautiful night here in Clearwater for our TaxAct Clearwater Invitational, presented by Evo Shield. Scoreless as we move to the top of the second. Beth Mullins, Amanda Scarborough, and Michelle Smith, and a great pitching duel. A couple of All-Americans who have both been at the World Series. Amanda, what are you intrigued about this matchup, Kat and Montana?
Yeah, I think it's to see how these hitters make adjustments and how quickly they do. But one thing I'm noticing early in this game, Michelle, is how Montana's using that drop ball. Sandercock's using that drop ball. They're staying low early in this game.
Well, because they were paying attention. There were a lot of home runs hitting this tournament. So they're like, they're going to be at the knees and below. And if the hitters are going to swing at those pitches, of course they're going to keep throwing them down there.
Yeah. There are the numbers, 5 All-American honors between the two of them. Sandercock, the slight edge in career victories. First inning, Cat made quick work. Fouts had to work through 32 pitches. And Florida State loaded the bases, but she struck out Michaela Edenfield on a drop ball to end the threat. And now back to work for her with the bottom of the order. Kerr, Muffley, and Hartley due up. Yeah, the home run numbers have been high, even against some of the aces. Megan Faremo.
Florida State has hit 7 in the tournament. Alabama's hit 4.
UCLA and Oklahoma State both showed up and showed out. They went 5-0 here in Clearwater. And likely for UCLA, still undefeated, to pass Oklahoma and move into #1 in the polls this week. The Sooners lost at Baylor today. The two-time defending champs. Fouts, one down. This is the 4th time here for Florida State at the Invitational. And they have had an awful lot of fun. They were 5-0 here last year. And their results this season, wins over Arizona and Arkansas, then the loss to UCLA, followed up earlier today with a run rule win over Louisiana.
Lonnie loves coming here. She knows it. This is a Iron Forges Iron type of tournament.
2 down.
Montana needed these 2 quick outs after that 32 pitch. It was 32 we decided, right? 32 pitch first inning.
Got in trouble.
The competition here is second to none. They are 15-6 in their 4 trips here. 15 wins, 11 of them against ranked opponents. So not only do you test yourself, but you can beef up your resume for the NCAA selection committee at the end of the year.
It's got that postseason feel to it. Got cameras, fans.
Especially when head-to-heads could mean the difference between maybe an 8 seed and a 9 seed that allows you to stay at home for the regionals and the super regionals.
Home field advantage always being the goal, always being the key for both.
Now, ironically, both these clubs last year
lost
at home in regionals.
Both stunned at home with early exits from the NCAA tournament. So they are coming back hungry for the new year. Hartley's got to be feeling good after hitting her first career home run this afternoon, a 3-run shot.
Well, I was just about to say the offenses have just exploded this weekend. I mean, no pitcher has had it easy, and we've had some of the best pitchers in the country here at this tournament, and they've given up some bombs.
Deep into the hole, Callie Heflin makes the play in a 1-2-3 inning for Bama.
TaxAct Clearwater Invitational, presented by EvoShield, is brought to you by TaxAct. File for less and get more. St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida. Let's shine. Plan your escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com. EvoShield, the source for custom fitting protective gear. And Gatorade, and our commitment to fuel tomorrow.
Oh, the crowds have been great again. Oh, build it. If you build it, Smitty will put her name on it.
Build it. I love it. Working hard.
Beth Bowens, Amanda Scarborough, and Michelle Smith, who lives here locally and has been instrumental in putting together this tournament that just continues to grow. It's just 4 years old now, right? 5 years next year. Oh, by the way, we're going to unveil the field of 16 for next year coming up later in the broadcast.
Yeah.
Gets bigger and better each year.
Haley Dowling grounds to short. 1 down. 4, 5, and 6 coming up.
Sandercock just rolling these ground balls and being efficient. Going to that drop ball early.
next batter, the first baseman, Emma Broadfoot.
Of course, the reference is that the hope down the road is to get a stadium built here.
Correct.
Whether or not it's Michelle Smith Stadium, we would vote for that, but it doesn't
Yes.
have to be. If there's a sugar daddy or sugar mama out there that wants to pitch in,
That's right. City of Clearwater, Pinellas County. Just, it's about time. We build a lot of stadiums for the men. Let's build one for the women.
Yep.
And for all the young girls that are out here watching, so that they have an opportunity to play in it.
Well, the event's already so big. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a packed house. Sold out tickets in 14 minutes.
Yep.
14 minutes, not
No,
days,
it's incredible.
not hours, 14 minutes.
Here's Emma Broadfoot, the first baseman. Popped it up. Kaylee Harding, 2 down. Tomorrow night, 2 of the top women's teams in the Pac-12 on the Heartwood will tussle. UCLA and Stanford. Coverage begins at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Don't look at your calendar now, but there's only a couple of weeks left in the regular season for the women.
A lot of young athletes out here
Enjoying the action.
watching their heroes.
Getting a lot of autographs.
That's right.
Nice pitch. This is Jenna Johnson facing Kat Sandercock. Kat only needed a handful of pitches to get through the first inning, 1, 2, 3, and trying to beat a hasty retreat again here in the second.
Back-to-back changeups.
It's been fun to see Coach Alameda challenge Kat and the rest of her pitching staff this weekend, especially challenging Kat with not getting a start in the 4 games prior to this until tonight, using her as a relief, as a closer, putting her in a different situation, a different role, and challenging the rest of the pitchers. See what they got against this good competition.
Johnson fouls that out of play. Lolly Alameda is in her 15th season now, headed to the Hall of Fame in December. 7 ACC regular season titles, 6 tournament titles for the Seminoles. 4 times to the World Series in the last 7 years and twice to the finals. Winning it all in 2018. Flaherty on the grass. First 6 retired in order by Kat Sandercock, and back to Montana Fouts. Ready to go to work for Bama. Scoreless through 2, our Sunday night showcase. Montana Fouts back out there for Alabama.
Well, Montana Fouts has elite spin as well as velocity. And take a look at the way she moves her pitches through the zone. This is a drop ball. It's going to tumble over the top. She's going to have a break of about 6 inches downward. This is a curveball. Look at the way it's spinning away. So that high RPM rate, and you can see them both drop over the top spin, curveball moving 1,800 RPMs on that curveball. So that revolution, the amount of spin that she gets on it is the reason it's going to break and run so much through that zone, and that's part of the reason she has all of those strikeouts, over 900 in her career.
Back to the top of the order for Florida State. Kaylee Mudge, right back up the middle. Hevlin can't get the throw there in time. And the leadoff for Kaylee. Earlier today against Louisiana, the Seminoles stole 9 bases. Can they put that speed to work again?
Mudge is so good at putting balls in play, putting pressure on a defense, and using her speed to beat out this infield hit. She's such a spark at the top of the order for FSU.
One of the foundational pieces for Lonnie Alameda has always been speed. An aggressive base running. See if they will test Shipman. Mac Leonard. Don't want to run out of a big inning with her at the plate. She's coming off a 2-home run game.
We noticed the first time through the order, Michelle, how much she was staying away from both the righties and the lefties. When you throw 70 miles an hour, why not challenge a hitter, whether they're left-handed or right-handed, up and in on their hands? But one of the few inside pitches that she threw was to Mac Leonard in her first at-bat, totally jammed her.
She likes to live on that arm side of the plate to lefties.
Leonard grounds to second, could be 2, over to first. Double play, Alabama. Cahalan to Hevlin to Broadfoot, 2 down.
Cahalan to Hevlin up the middle. 2 new positions here, but the experience, a nice toss over and then guns it over to first. Long stride over at first by Arnott to get the double play, and Montana is pumped. Seeing a lot of emotion from her in this game. And rolling those ground balls has become a part of Montana's game.
Kaylee Harding, first pitch swinging. And quick work for the Tide. Headed to the bottom of the 3rd, scoreless in Clearwater. Our Sunday night showcase features Florida State and Alabama here in Clearwater. The 7th-ranked Seminoles 3-1, all against ranked opponents. Mac Leonard having a big tournament, and for the Crimson Tide of Alabama, they too are 3-1 here in Clearwater. That includes a walk-off win over UCF right there, Kristen White. And a run rule win over Indiana, and the numbers are pretty close. Hey, there's everybody out on the concourse, the food court, having a cold beverage or 2. Glad you could be with us tonight. Yeah. 40 games in 4 days here at the Eddie C. Moore Complex. Seen a little bit of everything. We had 10 of the top 25
That's right.
in town with us. UCLA and Oklahoma State both going 5-0 here.
If you're a softball fan, this is the place to be in February.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the sun, you get to go to the beach in between games. Well, not really. There's 40 games, so just stay at the ballpark.
Get to the beach early. Get your walk in. Callie Hevlin, it's 7, 8, and 9. They have yet to do any damage to Kat Sandercock, who has thrown just 18 pitches so far and retired the first 6, 4 of them on groundouts.
Sure, the talk to the Alabama hitters is let's make her throw a few more pitches. Start to take a few more pitches, make her earn these strikes. Don't chase out of the strike zone and help her out.
Well, and that's one of the things that makes Sandercock so great is the majority of her misses are down, are out of the strike zone, not in the strike zone.
Well, this is a testament to the growth of the game, watching these 2 programs. 40 years of the Women's College World Series, for so long dominated by the West Coast. And then the SEC started pouring tons of money into it. Alabama, the very first SEC championship. Smitty, when you were growing up, it was slow pitch, right? In a lot of the southeastern U.S. And what a moment. We had a 92-year-old woman, a local huge softball fan, throwing out the first pitch today.
There she is. And I think it was a strike.
It was.
Awesome. And she was a lefty,
Yes.
that's right. So
Callie Hevlin, the ground out. Hartley's been busy at 3rd, 1 down. Got some basketball coverage for you on Thursday night. Number 1, South Carolina and Tennessee. Our coverage will begin at 7 Eastern. And it is, believe it or not, a tenuous hold on number 1. as South Carolina and Ole Miss are tied late in the fourth quarter. So we've already seen in softball #1 Oklahoma lose today to Baylor. Will we see something similar in hoops?
And Oklahoma losing to Baylor, and it's not even a conference game.
Yeah.
Playing them outside of conference in Waco.
Larissa Pruitt, the right fielder. Another one of the freshmen in the lineup tonight for the Tide. Of course, the other two national championships belong to the Florida Gators. They went back-to-back, but it's been a 6-year drought since the last SEC title, and I believe only one appearance in the championship series. So,
Yeah, and Florida was the only SEC team last year, I think, to make it to the Women's College
only
World
one.
Series.
Of course, the Gators off to a strong start. Tennessee looks pretty good.
Yeah. Always enjoy watching Sandra Cox. She's very deliberate about her pre-pitch routine.
Season 2, as you hear the Florida State faithful, that's their 2-strike chant, K-time in Tallahassee.
Got this speed at the bottom of the lineup for Alabama with Pruitt and then White on deck. And FSU's defense, especially in the infield, is so good. Flaherty, Muffley, and Leonard especially have been their veteran players.
Prep Alabama Player of the Year and a top 5 recruit. Had a couple of hits in the UCLA game this weekend out of Hartselle, Alabama. Got 3 freshmen in the starting lineup tonight with White and Cahalan, and they're all in a row here, 8, 9, and then the leadoff for Bama as the count goes full. White, in the last few days, guys, may be emerging as the new starting center fielder, one of the spots that's been open for competition early in the season.
A lot of options in the outfield for Bama. Alabama doing such a better job of working to count this inning already.
And finally, a lengthy at-bat. Three-two pitch. Took that one off the foot.
It hurts. You see that a lot with a drop ball pitcher too, that the hitter will hit that ball right into their shin or to their foot, their ankle.
That's actually elevated a little bit. So important to try and reach through that low drop ball, change the direction of the spin.
Just 2 walks all season for Sandercock.
A bat that you'd love to see if you're an Alabama fan, with how quickly that Sandercock has been rolling these ground ball outs and getting these Alabama hitters out, especially out of a freshman up there fighting, battling, 10th pitch of the at-bat coming.
Another 3-2 pitch. Pruitt puts this one in play, down to Leonard at first, steps on the bag. 2 down.
And that just shows the experience of Kat Sandercock. 3-2 pitch after 3-2 pitch. She doesn't let the environment bother her. She continues to throw those pitches that are strikes, induces the ground ball, doesn't give up the hit, doesn't give up the walk. It's so easy to do that when you have to perform and throw strike after strike after strike.
She has such good command, you guys. You know, that's why she only has 2 walks in the season, because she can put the ball in the quadrant in the spot that she wants to put it. Up, down, in, out.
And that's a good point, because it's command and control. She can command her pitch, and she can also control it to put it in the location that she wants.
Here's Kristen White in the 9 spot. You may have seen her handiwork already on SportsCenter with a walk-off hit and a home run saving catch to her credit this weekend. This was in the 8th inning, tie game against UCF. Chopped right back up the middle to win it for the Tide. That was yesterday.
Love the excitement, right?
Backhanded grab, Muffley fires to first. And the first 9 in a row retired by Kat Sandercock. Welcome back to the 2023 TaxAct Clearwater Invitational presented by Evo Shield. Scoreless Florida State and Alabama, and we're joined now by head coach Lonnie Alameda.
And Coach, what are you seeing from Kat Sandercock? She's rolled 7 ground balls so far.
Yeah, I mean, got good bite on her drop ball. This tournament's been trying. I see a lot of pitchers, you know, are we coming in? Are we starting? Are we relieving? So I think it's kind of fun for her to like have her own warm up and, you know, controlling the game. And she's having a good time. I mean, it's a great ball club and what a great atmosphere.
Coach Montana Fouts looking like she's staying more low in the zone. What are you seeing out of her tonight?
Yeah, I mean, the same thing with Fouts, too. I think, you know, early on, she's a great pitcher. And, you know, it looks like she's mixing speeds a little bit. Probably a new pitching coach. They're trying to figure each other out a little bit, too, you know. So she's a competitor. And, you know, I can see her feeling out the zone. But, you know, she spots it really well. And she's starting to mix speeds, which is, it's cool to see her continue to develop, too.
Well, thank you very much, Lonnie. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
We got a good one tonight. It's a ground-out-a-thon right now. 13 combined ground-outs for the 2 drop ballers. And for Florida State tonight, 1 for 4 with runners on base. They have had opportunities in both the first and the third. In fact, that first inning, bases loaded. And then Montana Fouts struck out Michaela Edenfield. 4, 5, and 6. Havlin. Ground out.
Another one.
Michelle, you were talking about her curveball and her drop ball earlier, comparing the two. And oftentimes, I think when you think of Montana Fouts, you think of her rise ball and her curve. But that drop ball tonight has been so effective. A couple of strikeouts with her drop ball and another out right there.
She's been putting it in perfect position right at the top of the knee. So by the time it gets through the zone, it's dropping down. And
Flaherty flares one foul.
And, you know, so the adjustments as a hitter that you have to make are trying to get down into that ball, reverse the spin and line it or barrel it up out onto the green. And it's hard because a lot of times with Fouts, you go up there thinking, all right, keep my hands high because I got to watch the rise ball. I don't want to strike on the rise ball. And all of a sudden the pitch is at your knees. And she does have great spread on her pitches, so she gets a good 4 to 6 inches on her drop. A rise ball like that last pitch is going to climb about 3 to 4 inches.
Well, and that was the big thing for Montana coming in this year, right? She started out last season 13-0, and then second half of the year she was barely above 500. People were timing her velocity, and so she had to add some new elements.
Like that changeup right there. Throwing it for a strike, too. Way to manifest it, make it happen right there, Beth, within this count to move it to a 1-2, this off-speed pitch. We're starting to see that pitch throughout the weekend develop more and more, and she's continuing to work it and throw it.
Well, I think important for Montana, too, is that she doesn't even always have to throw it for a strike. She just needs to show it.
Well, and I think one thing that a lot of fans might notice if you're just watching Montana for the first time is the change in her pre-motion or in her windup. She's staying in her glove. It looks a lot different than the Montana Fouts that we've seen in the years past when she was an All-American. Completely changed her pre-motion, and the ball is staying in her glove longer instead of swinging her arm back before she moves forward.
These are both All-Americans that went to the World Series, and neither one wants to stay put. Constantly looking for ways to improve. Lonnie Alameda says about Kat Sandercock, hunting the knowledge.
Yep, hunting inches.
Hunting the edge.
Yep, just the
Same for Montana.
extra little bit of advantage that you can get.
2-2 pitch, right back at her.
And in between every inning, her and Lance McMahon and Allie Shipman are having about a 60-second and 90-second conversation over by the dugout, just working through what just happened, talking pitch calling, what's coming up, how do we feel, what pitches are working.
Well, even Lonnie said it, that new pitching coach, they're getting to know each other. And you know, he calls the pitches for Montana, so he's still learning her style and what she likes to throw in different counts and when she's ahead versus when she's behind and all the nuances that go into the game within the game.
By the way, we'll be chatting with Coach Murphy next inning. Here's Edenfield.
And then she comes back with a little extra juice on a curveball in the outside corner. It's Edenfield to swing through it.
Eyes at the eyes, 0-2.
Well, and this is where you do your homework and you know your opponent. Edenfield likes to climb that ladder. She likes to go after that high pitch, so it's making the adjustments ahead 0-2. You're going to take her back upstairs. It's a rhetorical question, I would.
I'm going to say yes, yeah. Oh, no, down on the dirt.
Talk. So sometimes you just got to show it.
Yeah. Try to lead them on a little fishing expedition.
Especially when you're in Clearwater. We're back up to it. She's been so much more efficient in the second, third, and fourth inning, too. That first inning, she threw 32 pitches, but since then, like a pitch total just at 57 now. Got it back under control.
Got her. 1-2-3 for Montana Fouts and her third strikeout.
Montana Fouts working Edenfield up in the zone with the rise ball, but then picks up the strikeout with the drop. Puts that pitch at the knees, lets her roll off the table. Big strikeout for Montana Fouts.
Welcome back to the 2023 TaxAct Clearwater Invitational presented by Evo Shield. Pitchers duel so far as we move to the bottom of the fourth, and head coach Pat Murphy.
Coach, one time through the order against Sandercock, and now the top of the lineup's coming up. What's the message to your hitters right now?
Well, we need to decide what we're going to hit because her drop ball has been really good and we kind of rolled over it. If you're getting ground balls to third base and you're a right-handed hitter, you're rolling over a drop ball. So you got to let it come in a little bit longer, try to smoke the middle. Dowling did that, but their shortstop made a great play and she was positioned perfectly.
And Coach, Montana Fouts in that first inning threw 32 pitches. She settled in after that. What are you seeing from her?
Yeah, a lot better. I think something with the mound as well. I think they fixed it for her, but I thought she got a really, really good hitter out there with some quality pitches, and I think she's just getting warmed up. She told us before the game she felt great. So that's a good sign for us. And I just want to say thanks to everybody that hosted the tournament. It's been a great time down here in Clearwater, a great event, great weather, and we appreciate everybody.
Well, thank you, Murph. We appreciate you
Thanks
guys
a lot.
coming.
Yep, see ya.
Thanks, Coach.
Good stuff on the righties against the drop. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the ground outs were to that left side. As Kat Sandercock retired all 9 she faced through the first 3 innings. So now back to the top of the order here in the 4th, and Kenleigh Cahalan still looking for their first base runner. Cahalan launches one. Back goes Kerr, back to the wall, and a home run for the freshman Kenleigh Cahalan.
That's a home run. Kenleigh Cahalan.
One of the best ways to go up and try to hit a drop ball is to see the bottom of the ball, to make an adjustment, to not ground out anymore, but to get the bottom. And this is just more of a flat drop ball in the outside corner, just didn't have any down movement on it. And the freshman, Cahalan, who should be in high school right now, goes yard and is able to barrel up this pitch right back up the middle of the field to put Alabama on top and make an adjustment like Coach Murphy was talking about to smoke it up the middle.
Next out was the tie, third baseman Ashley Franke.
1-0 tied.
On Sandercock, as soon as she threw that pitch, she knew it was elevated. It was mid-thigh. It's a mistake she does not make very often.
Ashley Prangy, they ground out to first, 1 down. Well, that shook things up a bit after a scoreless 3.5 innings.
Next out was the tie to catcher Allie Shipman.
Cahalan takes it out, and here's Allie Shipman.
I love that she was first pitch swinging too. There's a lot of young players that like to look at one pitch, just get that feel. If that first pitch is sweet, you got to go get it.
Well, Murph has high praise for Kenleigh Cahalan, saying that she could be one of the best hitters to ever play at Alabama.
Brought up the name Kelly Crutchman, and whenever you do that,
Impressive.
you've got the potential.
It's that left side power, difference maker.
Shipman gets into it, but Mudge properly placed. 2 down. Let's revisit that home run.
Look how she steps open just a little bit, ball on the outer half, and just goes down into it. Just drives that dead center.
Next out was the designated player Bailey Dowling.
Second career home run.
There's the 4-hitter, Bailey Dowling. Bailey just 1 for 9 so far in the tournament, but an all-SEC performer last year. There's the home run totals here in Clearwater, 85 of them. Dowling gets into one, way back and gone. 2 home runs in the inning for Bama.
Home run, Bailey Dowling.
For 9 the first time through the lineup, and now 2 for 4 with a couple of taters.
It's another elevated drop ball. This one even higher. It's up at the belt. Bailey Dowling taking this out of the yard. Doesn't have to worry and try to get that bat and barrel under the ball. That ball is so far up in the zone, she just comes straight through, bashes that out of the yard. Her first home run of the year.
How about the adjustments here for Alabama? Or perhaps Kat, Smitty, just getting things a bit too elevated in the zone, and Alabama pouncing.
Well, and I mentioned earlier, typically when Kat misses, she misses low. Both of those misses have been up and in the zone.
Emma Broadfoot.
When you think about it too, both of those pitches were in similar locations. It's just one was against a lefty and one was against a righty, but it was a drop ball that just didn't get down enough on her arm side, stayed more flat, stayed more up in the zone. And look at Alabama just capitalizing on a mistake that, two mistakes that the All-American has made in this inning.
Got under it. Flaherty. Side retired. But 2 home run balls puts Bama on top.
Big inning for Alabama, second time through the order. The freshman Hallen hits the first home run, and then Bailey Dowling hits the second. Those were long gone on 2 mistakes.
Two 2-0 Alabama as we move to the 5th. A pair of solo home runs in the bottom of the 4th for the Tide has them on top. Our schedule update brought to you by Evo Shield. There's one other game going on tonight on ESPN2 at 8 Eastern, Mississippi State and UCF. State 2-1 in Clearwater, UCF 1-3 so far. And that's 8 Eastern on ESPN2. Bottom of the order, 7-8-9 to face Fouts. Montana got in trouble in the first inning. Florida State loaded the bases, and she worked out of the jam and has settled in nicely since. All 3 hitters at the bottom of the order for FSU grounded out in the second inning. Inspired. It was an off-season of turmoil with all the comings and goings on the roster. It followed on the heels of their stunning loss in the regionals in Tuscaloosa. They had played in the Super Regionals every year, 16 straight years, and last year came up short, lost to Stanford after winning 44 consecutive regional games. And Kerr puts that one beyond the outfield fence. And from ground outs to home run balls.
I'm just going to say that FSU needs to make the same adjustment that Alabama did against Sandercock and her drop ball to be able to look more at the bottom half of the ball. This actually is a rise ball that didn't get up enough. It also is more flat, and Janai Kerr just takes this the opposite way. So many solo home runs, a 3rd solo home run in this game. Janai Kerr, bottom of the lineup with a little bit of pop. I'm happy to cut the lead in half.
Nice 2-1 rise ball that left a little bit too close, and both these pitchers really starting to feel what it's like when you leave your pitch, your hard pitch is too close to the zone. Lively balls, lively bats.
I want to see from your team too is just to answer back right away. Alabama puts up those 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th, and then right away Florida State answers back. It's something that they're so good at doing year after year.
Punch back.
Ratio too low. Muffley, the 4-year starter, has been so consistent for them. has overcome a lot of injuries to stay in the lineup. After her softball career, wants to be a firefighter. Has made friends with the fire department down in Tallahassee, and in turn, they've become big fans of softball. Knocked down, and the flip over to first, barehanded catch in time to get the out as Cahalan covered for Broadfoot.
Well, Broadfoot is going to go get this ball, and you know how it is sometimes it just trickles away from you. It's like, come back, and then the flip over. Cahalan, a good job of going out and catching it. Look at the way she's going to catch this. She's going to barehand it and show the umpire.
That was close.
Again, freshman making this catch.
Yep.
And the stretch, and there's no review here at the tournament, so they're not going to be able to go and take another look at this one. It is what it is on the field. It's a good play.
Yep.
I think that one would be tough to overturn anyway.
Yeah. Good call.
So much focus it takes to catch that ball while you're running and still trying to get your foot on the bag, and also worried about the runner running past you. It's a lot.
And I like the way she caught it and showed the umpire. It wasn't like she was searching for the bag, you know, all those things that make it look like you didn't make the out. You have to make it, you have to sell it to the umpire.
Pinch hitter here in the 9 spot is Hallie Waycaser, who's been their best bat, actually, here in the tournament. She's 4 for 9. And has a hit in each of their 4 games. Two and one. Top of the order about to swing around for the 3rd time for Florida State.
Nice mix there. Goes up with the rise ball, comes back down with the drop. Fouts with that elite spin, those RPMs on that drop ball versus the rise ball. Gets that nice spread. Looking at 8 to 10 inches of being able to have that vertical spread between her rise and her drop.
Upstairs for the strikeout, number 4 for Fouts, 2 down.
Well, and I love this setup. So she goes rise ball up, she comes back with the drop low in the zone and comes back to the rise ball. This one's tighter. You can see the spin on it, getting those RPMs up over about 1,400. And when that ball is spinning that tight, you're going to get that late sharp movement.
Kaylee Mudge grounded out in the 1st, singled in the 3rd. And then got caught up in a double play.
It's interesting, just the difference in that rise ball that struck out Waycaser and that last rise ball. That last rise ball was 70 miles an hour, and it really didn't have sharp bite. The one that she got the strikeout on was about 68, and it had a lot more bite to it. And so sometimes it's easy for power pitchers to throw through their spin. They're throwing it too hard, they run out of real estate, and the ball is
never
more
breaks, right?
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes you just take a little bit off it, you work on the rotation, and you let the ball do the work. You get that better bite.
1-2 to Mudge.
Well, and I think that we've seen her do that all throughout this game,
Yeah.
too. Some of her best drop balls have been at about 68 miles an hour, and you might think, well, what's the difference between 71 and 68? But it absolutely does make a difference. And Michelle, too, I would add, I think it also helps her changeup to not overthrow that pitch and to get a better feel, and not feel like she has to overthrow everything. Have that pitch there. So they'll throw that pitch more.
Count goes full. Hey, coming up later tonight, the opening weekend of the XFL continues with the Seattle Sea Dragons and the DC Defenders. That's at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and ESPN Plus. Everybody having a good time here in Clearwater. Mudge staying alive. Mudge gets a hold of it, deep center field, back to the track, and the catch is made by Kristen White. But one of them does leave the yard for Florida State.
McCurr gets all into a rise ball that just does not get up, and she punishes it, drives it oppo to put the Seminoles on the board.
Hey, let's take a look at tonight's performance update prepared by Got a couple of home run balls for Bama.
Finley Canallen, the leadoff hitter, the freshman, put the first run on the board with that solo shot, and then Bailey Dowling later in the inning. Another solo home run. We've had 3 in this game. All the runs that have been scored have been off of a home run, but Alabama hit the 2 and Florida State just the 1.
So we go to the bottom of the 5th. 6, 7, and 8 coming up in the order. Stick around next inning, top half of the 6th. We will reveal which 16 teams will be back here in Clearwater next year for the tournament. So you can start preparing. Oh, yeah. Sandercock to face Jenna Johnson. Jenna 4 hits in their 2 games yesterday with 3 RBI. She had a nice little Saturday. Just week 2 of the season on the road to the Women's College World Series.
I'm sure all the parents after this weekend that have traveled here feel like we're like deep into May
Yes.
at this point. They're
Yes.
getting gray hairs, they're stressful all weekend long. And it's just February.
It almost feels like a conference tournament or
It does.
regionals, right?
Well, you got to get ready to possibly play multiple games in a day. You've got to be prepared to try and come back from a loss. You know, the postseason, you get into double elimination.
Just feeling the nerves, you know, the intensity of each situation and knowing how to handle it, how to think it.
And then you can put together this spectacular regular season and boom, mayhem occurs. Like last year, 5 upsets in the regionals, including Mississippi State beating Florida State as a 2 seed last year. There were 2 other upsets in the Supers. We had 3 unseeded teams in Oklahoma City, including Texas, who made it all the way to the championship series. The first time ever that an unseeded team was in the finals, succumbing to Oklahoma.
Speaks to the parity, the growth of the sport.
Knocked down by Sandercock. Quick reflexes in the circle. 1 down.
I think that's an underestimated part of her game. We know that she's a good pitcher. We know she can throw a drop, change, and a rise ball, but she's a really good defender, too. Saw her make a play earlier in this game for herself on the ground, and this one is a line drive that she's just able to knock down right next to her and be able to make that throw. Keep the leadoff hitter off base. Always so important.
And a lot of that is because of where her glove is at release. Her glove is in front of her body so she can protect herself. And it seems like a little thing, but it is huge.
Oh, and that hit Hovland. How about that? The first base runner of the game for Bama.
And it's funny because it looks like it's a rise ball, but it's spinning almost like a drop ball. So it's interesting to me trying to figure out exactly what that pitch is.
I agree.
Amanda.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Thought the same thing.
Well, and both the balls that were hit out of the park, elevated drop balls.
Yep. There is some activity now in the bullpen for Florida State. Allie Dubois is out there. We saw McKenna Reed out there earlier. Pruitt chops it back to the pitcher. Quick out of the circle to make the play. It'll bump the runner over into scoring position with 2 outs.
Another excellent defensive play by Kat Sandercock. You know, she just comes out of her pitching motion aggressively. She has to go get that, otherwise Pruitt is safe 100%.
Lonnie Alameda will come out with Kristen White, the number 9 hitter, coming up. She grounded to short the first time up. Perhaps just a chat with the defense here with that runner on second base now. How about today's impact players, brought to you by Visit St. Pete Clearwater, and the impact that these 2 pitchers have had.
We're seeing them both throw maybe their best games of the weekend. Of course,
be, yeah.
Sandercock getting her first start of the weekend, and Tana's thrown a lot here. Saving their best for last.
Yeah. And both, you know, thrown significant amount of innings over the last 4 days.
It's a long weekend, especially when you're playing top 10, top 25 competition every game here.
And mentally staying in it as well, because you know you're going to get roughed up, right? So you got to have that short memory. Give up a long ball, got to flush it, let it go.
Well, it's so fun to watch Lonnie deal with her pitchers. You know, that's her specialty. She talks about sprinkling in analytics and technology a little bit at a time for the pitchers to digest in their scouting reports and their daily conversations. White tried to drop it down, foul.
I already told you my 3 M's. Coach Alameda's coaching up the pitchers: metrics, mindset, and mechanics.
Oh.
So, metrics, you know, also data, but I like metrics. It goes with the flow a little bit better, but she's so good at teaching all 3 of those and communicating with her pitchers.
And speaking the same language. You know, she talks a lot about that, making sure they're all on the same page so that when she is relaying information to them, they know exactly what she wants.
Knowledge equals confidence. Owen to White. Infield way in. High chopper to Muffley. And still beat her there. Side retired, 5 innings in the books. We got a 1-run ball game. Having a ball here in Clearwater. All the sights and sounds of our 40 games in 4 days this weekend, culminating with our Sunday night showcase this evening. Great action. And a whole lot of memories being made. So who's going to be here next year? Well, here is your field of 16 teams, February 15th to the 18th next year. And it includes this Florida State team that we're watching tonight. We got reps from all the major conferences. UCLA will be back again. Texas, a team that was in the finals a year ago. Northwestern, a World Series team last season.
It's a big list right there, 16 teams.
Good place to be. Get ready to get your tickets. Into the 6th inning, Alabama with a 2-1 lead over Florida State, courtesy to a pair of solo home runs. Kelly Cahalan and Bailey Dowling Florida State got one back in the 5th. Janai Kerr a solo home run. It's 2, 3, and 4 now to face Fouts. 6 outs left to work with. Leonard a walk and hit into a double play.
Leonard staying back on that off-speed pitch. Remember last game she hit a changeup that was elevated a long way over the fence. And the right field land was off of Louisiana.
Solo home run and a 3-run swat. Her first 2-homer game in a Florida State jersey. Can't keep up with the Fouts rise ball, 1 down. Strikeout number 5 for Montana.
That's a big strikeout with the way that she was seeing the ball coming into this game. They've kept her pretty quiet. A walk and also hit into a double play, and then the strikeout on a rise ball, getting her to chase out of her zone.
And I think that changeup helps set that up. See something a little bit off speed, and then you put that rise up at the eyes. So easy to bite at that pitch.
Keely Harding, 1 for 2 with a single. Amber Cayley had the walk-off double in extra innings in this Sunday night showcase a year ago to beat UCLA. Came up clutch.
This is the inning that you really face the home run power for Florida State with Leonard, who she just struck out, but also Harding, and then Dak on deck. A lot of power in these 3 hitters' swings. Big inning where we're at in this game.
Well, that's the other head scratcher, right? It's the home run hitters tonight aren't from the expected bats.
Exactly.
It's been some of the others.
Talked about how these lineups, you know, a lot of them, there's nowhere to hide. It's power 1 through 9. And you make a mistake, it's going to get tattooed.
2 and 2 to Harding.
Harding got a base hit off of a curveball. I like the way Montana has stayed away from the outside corners. 2 strikes so far in this at-bat have been rise balls up at her eyes. See if they go back upstairs.
They do. Forces the pop-up. Tricky with the wind, but Hevelin hauls it in, 2 down. Well, tomorrow night, big showdown in women's hoops. Number 3 Stanford and number 16 UCLA coming your way from Maples Pavilion. Our coverage begins at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Undefeated number 1 South Carolina did survive tonight. They beat Ole Miss in overtime. Number 1 Oklahoma in softball did not. They lost to Baylor today, so could see a likely move of UCLA to number 1 in the country.
Man, that was with Jordy Ball, their ace in the circle.
And UCLA went 5-0 here. Several big wins.
Yeah, with big wins over Florida State and Alabama.
Yep.
Well, and Oklahoma and UCLA maybe can settle it next weekend in Palm Springs.
That's,
There you go.
that's true.
There you go.
We'll find out on the field. Katie Dak struck out in the 1st, grounded to short in the 4th. Slice the outside corner, 1-2. And a third 1-2-3 inning for Montana Fouts. Strikeout number 6 has Alabama 3 outs away.
And boy, is she fired up after this strikeout. That rise ball is working late in the game. Look at the emotion from Fouts late in this game.
No, they are indeed taking us higher tonight. Terrific matchup here in our Sunday night showcase. Alabama 2, Florida State 1. Cahalan and Dowling homers for Bama. Kerr a solo shot for Florida State. Crimson Tide are 3 outs away, and they will swing it at least once more here in the bottom of the 6th against Kat Sandercock. Two All-American pitchers will try and finish their business.
An important inning for Sandercock to keep the score the way it is.
Back to the top of the order. And here is the home run hitter, Cahalan. Jumped on a drop ball that didn't drop.
Well, she first pitch swinging again, coming right out. And you know, that's smart because most pitchers, what do? We want to get ahead early. Probably going to be one of the best pitches you're going to see. The first pitch, that is.
Second pitch swinging, 0-2.
Well, and you can see it's a drop ball that is elevated, and she just gets under it and bashes it out of the park. She takes it dead center. They continue to work her on that outside part of the plate. Continuing to challenge her on that low spot.
Two from Kat. And again, this is a young lady who's supposed to still be in her spring season in high school, but chose to enroll early, joining the team in the second semester here in time to practice and suit up.
Alabama has such a rich history for their leadoff hitter. So many All-Americans in that spot, usually left-handed, it seems like, too.
Brittany Rogers, Caleb Rowe, Jen Finn. Sure we're missing a few.
It's hard to name all because there's one after another.
She's more power and average, though, to me, than the typical triple threat.
Slapper speed.
Slapper, bunt, speed.
Cahalan, high fly ball out to center, and Kerr is there. 1 down. Well, that South Carolina basketball team we told you about surviving in overtime tonight against Ole Miss. They will play Tennessee Thursday night, women's college basketball on the road to Dallas in the Final Four this year. South Carolina, can they stay undefeated after a scare tonight? Led by National Player of the Year, Aaliyah Boston. Here's Prangy. A couple of ground outs.
Prangy's been good. She's been consistent this year. She's had power, 4 home runs coming into tonight. She's the bat. When you think of the ball flying out of the yard that you really have to respect.
Big expectations for her to have a huge year in the SEC, according to Patrick Murphy. With her consistency and her power, feeling much more comfortable now in year 2 in the SEC.
Alabama, top to bottom, has hit well this tournament. It's not easy to come here and hit over 300 as a team. Entering this game, both Florida State and Alabama had done that. So many quality pitchers here.
Actually hit a 2-run home run in their opener, a win against Duke. Then she hit 2 home runs in the loss to UCLA. Drove in a run against UCF. 2-2.
Good take. Off-speed drop, so easy to bite after that. Here's looking low.
Prangy, back up the middle, and Muffley couldn't quite haul that one in, and a base runner for Bama with 1 out. Don't forget, there's more softball coming up tonight on ESPN2 at 8 Eastern. Mississippi State and UCF. And perhaps you too can sprinkle like a unicorn.
I always try. It's always my
That's the
goal.
goal. Isn't that the goal? Wake up. Unicorn in mind. Pinch runner here is Kat Grill. Prangy can re-enter. And that will be all for Kat Sandercock. Enter McKenna Reed. Lefty freshman from Portland, Oregon. And a big moment in her young career coming up.
The new pitcher for the Seminoles, number 3.
TaxAct Clearwater Invitational, presented by EvoShield, is brought to you by TaxAct. File for less and get more. St. Pete, Clearwater, Florida. Let's shine. Plan your escape at visitstpeteclearwater.com. And EvoShield, the source for custom fitting protective gear.
Around the Tampa Bay area and over here at Eddie C. Moore Softball Complex in Clearwater. The pitching change with 1 out and 1 on in the 6th inning is McKenna Reed. And the biggest moment of her young career, 12 innings of work in her 6 appearances as a freshman.
And she's going to have a lot of velo up in that high 60s to 70 miles an hour, lefty spin, and it's a rise ball, so she's going to attack the zone high. She's a good mix coming from Kat, which is from the right side and down, to McKenna Reed, the left side and up.
And she'll deal with a couple of veterans here in Shipman and Dowling, the next 2 up.
I like how they really kind of defined her role early in this season as a freshman, throwing her into a lot of relief appearances and no starts in the year for McKenna Reed, but she's been really competitive and really fiery in relief, comes out and throws a lot of strikes. It's a completely different look.
Still early, but we may see fewer complete games this year as more coaching staffs talk about having bullpens, some even closers, as opposed to the traditional 1-2 punch that can throw every inning over a weekend.
It's that second, that 3rd time through the lineup, or sometimes 4th time.
Same metrics that you see in baseball.
The averages go up, the more number of pitches the hitters get to see.
And coaches are carrying a lot more pitchers on their roster too. Staffs now being 6, 7 deep.
Yeah, in fact, some pitchers, their job, get me 3 outs, get me an inning.
Shipman puts that one out of play. Kat Sandercock getting into the 6th inning, 63 pitches tonight, 3 hits, 2 of them home runs, and a 2-1 Alabama lead. Kept everything else on the ground, didn't have any strikeouts in the game. A lot of ground outs. As Allie Shipman tries to get the rally going. She has a hit in all 7 Alabama games this year. Not one yet tonight, as Kat Grill will scoot over into scoring position.
She's been a tough out, too, is yet to strike out on the early season. Tough with 2 strikes. And Alabama done a good job of being tough with 2 strikes in this game. No strikeouts for Alabama.
Don't forget, coming up later tonight, the Seattle Sea Dragons and the DC Defenders. Get your fix of XFL opening weekend. 8 Eastern on ESPN. Score that a passed ball.
And Amanda, to your point, too, coming into this game, the hitters for Alabama had struck out 26 times and walked only 6 times. So really good job here with controlling the zone this evening against Florida State pitching.
Here's the 2-2. Got her. And got her to chase. 2 down.
Michelle, this is that rise ball that you were talking about that McKenna Reed will throw. What a pitch, up and in on the hands and continue to head up. The first strikeout on Allie Shipman's season is that pitch right there with a runner in scoring position, down by a run. A freshman just made a pitch to the 3-hole hitter for the K.
Here's Bailey Dowling, the home run, her last time up. Goes the opposite way, and right there is Kaylee Harding. Side retired, we head to the 7th inning, and the last chance coming up for the Seminoles. Can they get after Montana Fouts, who has held them in check? Just the 1 run so far tonight with 6 strikeouts. How about a look at tonight's performance update prepared by TaxAct, and it's a lot of Montana Fouts.
A lot of Montana Fouts, over 900 strikeouts in her career. Why? Because she can roll the ball up and down. She's got a great drop ball, rise ball combination. She's used them both effectively, elevating when she needed to, and then going downstairs for a different look. A lot of times when we think Montana Fouts, you think rise ball, curve ball, but the drop ball tonight has been very effective. A couple of walks, those were early in the first inning, and since that first inning, she's tightened up. Nice game so far for Montana. See if she can close it out.
5, 6, 7 due up. Flaherty and Edenfield. First pitch swinging, 1 down.
It's always good as a pitcher to get a quick first out in the 7th inning.
Boy, these Sunday night showdowns have been intense every year.
Every year.
Drama. This is the one that's been building since the last inning. The matchup with Edenfield. Is she struggling or is she due? She is 1 for 12 here in the tournament and has struck out twice tonight.
About all the scores too that we've had in these games, and this is, I think, one of, if not the lowest scoring games that we've had in the tournament.
But the trend has continued with the long ball. All the scoring's been off the solo home run.
That's right.
2 of them for Bama, 1 for Florida State. The Seminole that hit it out is Janai Kerr in the on-deck circle. Yeah. 2-0. Down Main Street.
This doesn't feel like Edenfield's seeing the ball real well off of Fouts. Close pitches, she's taking all the way. Pitches that are out of the zone, she's swinging at or check swinging. Seems like she's guessing a little bit.
Yeah, that's a leverage count at 2-0. I would have been swinging out of my boots on that one.
Just like that.
And so she's backwards, exactly. So she watches the strike, that's a really good 2-0 pitch, and swings through a rise ball that's out of the zone.
You can just tell the hitter's in her head a little bit. Go back to her routine and breathe through it. Just takes one pitch, you know, to make an adjustment. She's chased a lot in this game.
2-2 from Fouts.
It's a good eye.
Full.
First time she struck out in this game, it's been off of a drop ball.
Here comes the 100th pitch of the evening for Montana. Struck her out. Number 7, 2 down.
It's a big deal to strike her out 3 times in one game.
The next batter is the center fielder, Janai
And
Kerr.
the only batter that has touched her tonight steps in as the last chance for Florida State. A solo home run jumped on a rise ball back in the 5th. Janai Kerr.
A 2-1 pitch in the 5th inning that Kerr just goes and gets on the outer half, just gets under it and elevates it opposite field out of the park.
Oh, 1. Glove by Hevlin from her knees, won't even try, and the tying run is aboard. Go ahead to the plate. And the number 8 hitter, Josie Muffley.
It's a hard hit to the left side. Kerr has proven that she can hit that outside pitch, and Hevlin has had a nice day at shortstop, recovered from a game that we saw earlier in this tournament where she didn't look as sharp and as confident fielding that shortstop position, but nothing that she can do. Speed of Kerr, and with 2 outs, Janai Kerr gives FSU a little bit of life.
Amaya Ross will be the pinch runner, the tying run at first base. Josie Muffley is 0 for 2, is grounded out to first base twice. As Montana Fouts tries to close it out. Four hits tonight for FSU, and Janai Kerr has 2 of them.
Josie Muffley.
Both teams trying to avoid their 3rd loss of the season early on, too. Both lost in opening weekend, both lost 1 game here.
Ross goes, the throw down, it ricochets off of her, and she's going to take 3rd.
Wow, and this is aggressive. You're down to your last out, and Ross is going to take off. The throw down is just going to ricochet off of her. Opportunity to see it in front of her, pops up immediately, gets over to 3rd.
Tying run 60 feet away. Muffley grounds it to first, backhanded, Broadfoot, ball game. and strands the tying run at third.
Team win for Alabama. The way that Montana Fouts through, getting a couple of home runs, making adjustments a second time through the order against Sandercock, and then defense being able to step up and make some plays late too.
How important was this game? You could see the energy, the passion. Montana Fouts coming off the field, hugging her teammates, the celebration. This means a lot. It kind of caps an amazing tournament here in Clearwater.
Another great weekend. 40 games in 4 days. And Alabama with the 2 solo home runs and a top-notch performance from Montana Fouts gets the win over Florida State. On behalf of our entire crew, Amanda Scarborough, Michelle Smith, I'm Beth Mowens. So great to be back with you on the road to the Women's College World Series. Coming up next, Sports Center.